Israel, Yahaseh Shalom, Yahaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, Yal Kol Yisrael, V'meru, V'meru, Amen. This week we start reading the book of Leviticus in the Torah reading that we read every week in the synagogue. And it's interesting, the Talmud tells us that the ancient practice was that little children should start their study of the Bible not with Genesis, the beginning of the Bible, but with Leviticus, which talks about the sacrifices in the temple. And the idea behind this would be Yavoi Tahorim Yasku Batahoro, that the pure children are pure, they're sinless, and they should come and study pure things, the sacrifices in the temple. And so that's where that comes from. Our faith should be pure like little children, and in a way when we exhibit that type of pure faith, God helps us in ways we can't imagine. There's a story that's traditionally told, actually last week was the tradition to tell it, but it's an interesting story and worthwhile telling. There was in feudal times a Jew who was a serf in a feudal tract of land, and the Poritz, the feudal lord, said to him, "Oh, how are things doing?" And this Jewish man, we'll call him Moses, and the feudal lord called him Mashke. So Mashke, how are things doing? And he said, God takes care of me. Now, if you know about the feudal system, the feudal lord would take care of the serfs. The serfs would work on the land, and the feudal lord would give them their livelihood. It was a very meager livelihood, but they would give them something. And this feudal lord said, "What are you talking? God takes care of you, I take care of you. You know what? I'm not paying your salary anymore. You go fend for yourself. Let God take care of you." Now, it was just before the Passover holiday. And Passover is a very expensive holiday. Matzahs are expensive, all the other foods and everything. How is he going to go and make this great feast for the Passover if the feudal lord wasn't even giving him the basics that he needed to live? But he had faith that God would take care of him, just like he said. Meanwhile, the Poritz, the feudal lord, he goes into his mansion and his counting house. He starts counting his coins, and he wants to see, are they really real? So he takes the coins, he bites them to see if they're real, and they were really disgusting back then in the Middle Ages. He would try to clean it with his mouth. He didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know how many germs and stuff was on, like we know today. That's not a smart thing to do. He had a pet monkey, and you know what they say, monkey see, monkey do. So the monkey saw the man putting the coins in his mouth, and so once the feudal lord left, the monkey said, "I'm going to copy him. I'm going to go and also put these coins in my mouth." And he didn't understand why he was putting them in his mouth. He thought he was eating them. So he starts eating these gold coins, tons and tons of gold coins, probably thousands and thousands of dollars, or whatever it was in I don't know what part of Eastern Europe, or wherever this was, whatever the currency was. He ate up a whole lot of money. There was a similar story like this in the Czech Republic, so that probably is where it took place. So he ate this all up, and that was very dangerous for him. The monkey wound up dying from eating all these coins. And the Poritz found this dead monkey, and he didn't know that the monkey ate all the coins, so he was in kind of a jovial mood, this feudal lord, and he said, "Oh, I'll play a little joke on Mashke. I'll throw this in his window, this carcass, the dead monkey." So the dead monkey flies in through the window, and it lands, and a few coins fall out of his mouth. And then Mashke picks up. It feels like this full of coins. He opens it up, and there's a whole treasure, tremendous wealth in this carcass of this monkey. And so he opened it up, and he was rich. Not only he had money to make the Passover holiday, he was rich. The story goes there was a synagogue. I visited a synagogue in Prague, the Pinkasova synagogue, and they say was built with such a story. Maybe it was the same story. Could have happened more than once, though. And so the Paritz, the feudal lord, he passed away. He said, Mashkala, where'd you get this money from? He said, I don't know. I told you God takes care of me. So God sent this monkey through my window full of coins, and that's how I had money to have my holiday. So then the Paritz saw that indeed he was right, and his simple faith saved him and gave him this blessing, that he was able to perform the commandments of God. And what greater joy could there be than that? And indeed, that's, I think, the message. Really, the whole book of Leviticus is we express our faith and our joy in serving God, and we understand we express some grief that we lose out on the merit, and we have faith that we will be restored to that. And so we don't have now the temple and the sacrifices, and we have some grief because we lack that, but we have hope that it will be restored in the future. And so, just like this Mashka had everything he needed for Passover, so too we should be blessed, and the whole world should be blessed. Everything you need to celebrate the Passover or whatever we're celebrating this time of year, and to celebrate and to be blessed and have everything we need, and to have a very good year and all of God's blessings.